My sister's life it's a lot, you know?
Get ready for a Hollywood meltdown like never before. Blake Lively just showed her true colors, revealing the nastiest side of fame you didn't know existed. Today, we're diving into the scandalous feud tearing apart the Lively family. Blake Lively on a rampage against her own sister. What triggered this brutal betrayal? How far will Blake go to protect her own ego?
And this is some family drama. You don't do this. You don't do this in front of the scenes. This is not right, okay?
Buckle up, because the claws are out and it's about to get vicious. This isn't just tabloid drama. It's a full-blown war, with Blake Lively in the center, burning every bridge in sight. Blake Lively has been stirring up a hurricane of trouble for a while now, all because she wants to look like a victim while pushing the blame onto Justin Baldoni. It all started when she insisted that he hurt her so badly she could barely face the world.
We appeared to have all this money, or we appeared to be rich, or we appeared, you know.
She made herself sound like she was too fearful, too shaken, and too weak to handle public events. But then, she showed up at the premiere of A Simple Favor, looking like she did not have a care in the world. She strutted down the red carpet. This is the Hollywood meltdown you never saw coming. Stay tuned, because the shocking truth behind Blake Lively's betrayal and Ryan's fury is just getting started. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been causing a huge amount of trouble for everyone in Hollywood. Every single time they show up, people seem to feel more tension than excitement. Their most recent film release, Another Simple Favor, is left completely speechless, humiliated on live television by a stunt he never saw coming. The world watched as a friendly Fox News interview turned into a nightmare. It might not have been Fox News' idea at all. Rumors are swirling that the mastermind behind Ryan's public embarrassment is someone much closer to home. In a twist no one saw coming, Hollywood sweetheart Blake Lively, Ryan's own wife, could be the villain of this story. Did Blake really pull the strings behind the scenes, setting her husband up for disaster on live TV? Why would Blake do this to Ryan? Posed for pictures and seemed eager for attention. People expected someone in deep distress to avoid all that, but she did the exact opposite. It was a huge contradiction.
It's painful. It is painful.
And so despite all of the resentment, to me, at the end of the day, that's what it means to be man enough.
Her director, Paul Feig, who worked on A Simple Favor, stepped forward to speak on this matter. He shut down the idea that Blake was too terrified to be seen in public. This short response from him wiped out any claim that she was trembling in fear at the premiere. If she truly had been as frightened as she claimed, her own director would have known, but he quickly made it clear that he did not believe her story.
And like proudly displaying us, we're women, so we can just lie and cheat and steal our way in to control these big movies. I mean, how disturbing is this to you?
This pulled the rug out from under her. If he was not going to back her up, who would? Blake was likely furious behind the scenes. She spent months acting like she was too emotionally shaken to continue living her usual life. Yet, there she was, looking completely fine, taking pictures and showing zero fear while facing cameras. People started to wonder if she was just pretending to be scared so she could point fingers at Baldoni. Her plan of blaming him for all her so-called suffering looked more and more suspicious.
We never talked about anything. You're my dad, and I was having resentment for all the stuff we don't talk about.
Things became much worse for her once Ari Emanuel's leaked audio came out. Ari is the CEO of WME, a giant talent agency. In that audio, he admitted he fired Justin Baldoni because he was close friends with Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Blake does not appear to care about any of that. She is focused on defending her own false story. She spent so long telling people that Justin was a threat to her peace of mind. She probably expected nobody would challenge her. For a while, it seemed like her plan might work, especially when WME fired Justin. She had the upper hand, and he lost major projects. Everyone might have believed she was telling the truth if Paul Feig had not spoken out, and if Ari Emanuel's audio had not been leaked. Now, it is a different world. People realize that Blake is not some kind person who was hurt by an evil man. Instead, she used her fame and buddies in high places to punish Justin for reasons that still are not very clear. Maybe she just wanted someone to blame for her problems. Maybe she wanted to look strong by taking legal action. Maybe she thought she could intimidate Justin into giving up, but she miscalculated.
And saying like, hey, if you want like something that you should be looking into and potentially this could happen, you should be subpoenaing TikTok, because if her entire argument is that Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer team manipulated the press, and she's doing the exact same thing right now.
The leaked audio turned everything around. And while some folks normally would blame the script or the pacing, the bigger problem lies with Blake and Ryan themselves. They have done everything possible to ruin any joy the audience might have had. The entire production struggled under their influence, which was rooted in their endless personal battles and questionable PR tactics. Sources say that Another Simple Favor was supposed to be a nice follow-up to the first movie, A Simple Favor. But it seems that the negativity swirling around Blake and Ryan made it impossible for the film to stand on its own. Critics from places like The Hollywood Reporter and Variety wasted no time in tearing the movie apart. They labeled it as silly, sometimes trying, and even dragged down by Sammy sameness. Instead of blaming a bad script alone, onlookers pointed directly at Blake and Ryan's never-ending drama. People are tired of them. They're done making excuses for this pair. Is it a prank?
It's like, how did this whole thing start? Well, here's what happened. Justin Baldoni was attached to Colleen Hoover's book, It Ends With Us. That's what we learned from this whole thing, because she sued him for sexual harassment. The New York Times published basically.
The head of a major production company? Since when does an actor have the power to blackball someone from the industry over something as trivial as a scheduling conflict? Fox executives were reportedly frustrated by his behavior, but they had no choice but to go along with it. By that point, Reynolds had already taken near total control of the Deadpool franchise.
And Sony didn't want to piss off Blake Lively because they didn't want to piss off Ryan Reynolds.
He had become more than just an actor. He was the creative force behind the project, and he knew it. That kind of power can be dangerous when placed in the wrong hands. And based on this latest report, Reynolds used it to make people miserable. And this wasn't the only time Reynolds exercised his influence in a way that crossed the line. Whenever they appear on camera or step on the red carpet, it's like a dark cloud follows them around. Nobody can ignore how they overshadow everything with their personal chaos. It's often been said that sequels fail to live up to the original. That might be true in many cases, but Blake and Ryan's behavior has amplified this so much that the sequel could never succeed. Every part of the production was haunted by the press, digging into Blake's legal battles, and Ryan's involvement in behind-the-scenes meddling. They both refused to let the movie speak for itself. Instead, they insisted on controlling the narrative, turning every little thing into a big controversy. Observers noticed that while Another Simple Favor might not have been the greatest movie even under normal conditions, the presence of Blake and Ryan brought it to a new low. People left the theater feeling disappointed and annoyed. Before the movie's release, rumors about Blake's meltdown had already been spread. They plastered on fake smiles, answered interview questions with shallow statements, and tried to shut down any mention of the controversies. Whenever an interviewer dared to ask about the tension on set or the legal disputes, they would dodge the question or spin it in a misleading way. Observers noticed that these two refused to own up to anything. They blamed the media, critics, or random haters, refusing to see their own role in creating this toxic situation. This stubborn denial made it clearer that they didn't care about honesty or accountability. They were focused on rewriting the public's perception, no matter how ridiculous it looked. All these scandals had a huge impact on the film's director, the rest of the cast, and fans who had actually enjoyed the original A Simple Favor. The overshadowing chaos made it almost impossible to talk about the story, the cinematography, or the performances.